see how Team Moscow's chemistry goes, because they've had a little bit of time at this point to develop the chemistry within their team, and on top of the inherent skill that's already there. But as I say that, we are going live here with the 5th round of the lead-out tournament. Rails, why don't you take us away for this first hit?
Indeed, we are live. We are going to be having Team Moscow on the Survivor and Team EVO on Special Infected. We have the first hit coming in from Team EVO. Smoker does get a pull out there on a Rochelle. Pick goes down onto a nothing. The Smoker is going to keep constricting Rochelle, as a matter of fact, because the Survivors weren't able to get that clear very fast. They did shut down the Hunter. Boomer got a single boom, no procs coming out. And let's do a quick roster rundown to start out here. So for Team Moscow from the United States on the Survivor, we are on the American server first, by the way. It's that Ringer, Captain Cheesy, Boat, Sexy Phantom, and Moscow. And who do we have for Team EVO, K3?
And for Team EVO, it will be TIMA, Star, Skyline, and Deck.
I'm really interested to see exactly how these two teams play. If we're going from conventional wisdom, though, we should expect Team Moscow to take the win on the home server here. But I think against a team like EVO, they're going to have to play very, very well here before they then get swapped over to the Chinese server. Right now, I do believe Team EVO is playing onto the West Coast right here, so they have all just about 171, 185 ping near the 200s. Jockey going to go in here and is going to get M2'd and shut down. Smoker is up top, and they have Sexy Phantom alone. They should be able to clear him through the floor. Indeed, they do. Hunter going for the scratches as well. Trying to M2 that Hunter, not going to land. A little bit more chip damage going out there.
Yeah, I think Team EVO is doing a really good job at putting out this damage early. I think that, honestly, SI side is probably the more important side to play solid as on your away server, just because it's more difficult to play a solid Survivor side than SI. So, you know, if EVO can put up this pressure and get a good momentum going on their away server, then they're going to set a really good pace going into their home server.
Most of these players in here, too, are probably pretty experienced in terms of playing with ping, at least just a little bit, so we'll see exactly how that plays out. Nice open going out, and the pop of that boomer is going to trigger the car alarm. Charter goes in, manually land onto Moscow, Spit's going to follow up, Jockey lands into the front, onto Rochelle as well. A lot of damage actually going out from that hit, more than I'd probably expect to see go out, K3.
Yeah, definitely. The Charge did a really nice job landing on that. Had this not been Ace Mod, I believe that would have been nearly an in-cap coming out from that Charge bit, but as this damage has been nerfed, it is not something that we're going to see. All Survivors are still fast and not yet bleeding out permanently, so they will still be in good health coming into this tank fight, but they have received a pretty decent spread from the damage, and we'll see how the tank can do at chipping the rest of that down. We do have another hit coming in here. Nice, actually 2 boom landing in from that boomer arcing that. Hunter does get deep skated there by Team Moscow. Charger's going to whip and get shut down, and that will be the hit. So very nicely taken there. Definitely nicely taken compared to the other hits that they had to take throughout the rest of this map. So hopefully it looks like they're going to start to take these hits a little bit better. And we do have the first tank of the game up in the hands of TIMA for Team EVO. Do we have war rooms?
We do not, so I believe we are going to be staying here for this, and that was pretty interesting. Dream being asked how many co-casts he had, he says he doesn't know, so that's interesting, so it might be just him. A few specs from the server, as you mentioned, K3 tank is up in the hands of TIMA, so I think Team Moscow might actually decide to take it in here. I don't agree with the call to take it inside, because the tank is going to have arms that are probably half the size of the room. Maybe not as bad as some of the Russians that we saw earlier, but it could still be a lot of damage coming out from that proximity. Smoker is going to sack himself right there. Boomer is looking to get some kind of spawn, and this tank has a pretty good position, keeping sight, only taking a little bit of chip.
Yeah, I honestly personally agree with where they're taking it, because, I mean, where else do they take it? It's either they take it here, or they take it all the way back to the beginning of the map, essentially, and that's a lot of distance to keep running, especially after they've taken all this amount of damage. So, yeah, I honestly think this is probably their best shot. They do have a bunch of different spots they can get on top of. I believe they can stand on top of the windowsill, too, if they so choose to. So, yeah, I think this is about the best chance they have at taking out this tank, although it will be very difficult, as you said.
As long as this boomer doesn't land, they should be okay. I think it's going to be as much on the support as it is on the tank himself. He should be able to work his way in there and maybe get some kind of initial corner. Boat's up there blocking the spawns behind the wall on the upper level. That single boom does go out off a proxy onto Moscow himself, and that is going to be a tank commit from Team EVO. Tank pushing his way up right now, trying to corner these survivors. They're going to rotate back around. This is the first punch. Hunter gets cleared. Jockey going in. Tank does now have a corner, looks like, on a coach. Maybe actually be able to get a multi-punch here. Indeed, he is actually not going to be able to. The first one only hit one of them.
Oh my God.
He's having some issues
The light.
trying to hit them. The light is what's really blocking them. Nice multis going out now. Tank was able to readjust. That's a lot of damage going out, and that actually should be the wipe, just as I somewhat feared on onto Team Moscow. Both saying that light.
Dude, that light was, at first it looked like it was going to be in the Survivor's favor because the tank actually the hit rays from the tank punches were registering on the light and not onto the survivors. But tank recovering nicely there, getting a nice triple punch onto both of the survivors behind the light that were cornered, as well as Ellis, who was in the doorway. So nice of them on that tank. I believe actually didn't whiff any of those punches. Did actually land a long arm on the first punch that it went for. So yeah, nicely done by the SI there, securing that wipe. And now the pressure is on Team Moscow, because you do not want to go down on a deficit on your home server. This is a really bad position to be in. So EVO setting a very nice pace early in the match.
Exactly, and this obviously has a lot of implications too for not only the rest of this game as a singular entity, but also when you like hop over to the Asian server, because at this point, you can think of it as a matter of pacing, and the pacing right now is that the home team got wiped here on the first tank, and then they're going to need to wipe EVO. If EVO can take the advantage here, they'd be in a really, really good position. But again, even if EVO is able to make it to that tank, which I assume they're going to, because they have a little bit of like skill in terms of playing with ping, especially Deck from his days when playing on MV. I mean, this could be a situation where you even see EVO take the lead, maybe even make a safe room here, and that would put them in distinct advantage, like going into these later chapters. Plus, also, it's also pretty cool to say that you were able to wipe the home team and then make the safe room as the away team on the first tank of the game.
Yeah, for sure. So we do see this first hit coming up. Not a huge amount of damage potential, but we did see a decent amount coming out from the last team. So we actually do see a nice double arc boom coming out here. It looks as I will elect to, yes, go in on this. Hunter is getting nicely aided by Team EVO though. And that's going to really put a dent in the potential for any of this hit. It looks like Spitter is probably just going to save, as well as the Smoker, not generating a lot actually there. They went for a bit of a pullback there, but that did get cleared pretty much instantaneously, and that's going to both decent clear spawns and allow EVO to run through this whole next area without taking nearly any damage. So nicely done by Team EVO to shut down that first SI hit.
They're running a pretty classic setup right here. They have those 3 Uzis, 1 shotgun, not surprising me at all one bit. That seems to be like a pretty popular way to play in terms of the Asian teams. Jockey's going in and trying to land a separation dart right now, getting M2 shut down. Hunter coming in from the bottom. Boomer does get popped. Spitter is going to land onto that pounce below, onto Coach for a little bit of damage, not a whole lot, but looks as though Team EVO, again, are playing it very, very precise. They're finding their way through the map. They're just killing the SI when they pop up, and that's really all you can ask for so far from a team who's playing on the away server. If they can keep this kind of momentum going, obviously they have a pretty nice, like, not even advantage, but a pretty nice way to play with the internet that they have available in their continent, so I don't think it's going to be that bad. If they can get around the Great Firewall, that is.
Yeah, I've heard good things about internet from both Hong Kong and from Korea. I've heard that the Korean internet servers are really good. Charger is going to whiff there. We do have a nice 2-cap going on in the back though. Spit's going to go down on that smoke for a little bit of damage, and Jock is actually getting quite a few ticks of damage out in the back. So there's finally the damage that Team Moscow starts to need to rack up on the rest of these hits now, if they want to not go down coming into this next round. So nicely done by them trying to reclaim a bit of momentum back.
Exactly, and that does help them a little bit. They might have a couple spawns up, maybe not for this first long card, but maybe for the second. The other thing about this is now that every single bit of damage they do, that is pre-tank. And I mean, if EVO decides to take it in the same room, obviously the tank that they're playing against won't have the same lengthy arms due to the ping, but it could still be a definite wipe depending on how the survivor team positions themselves. And next hit would be a Hunter, Jockey, Boomer, and a Smoker. So 3-1 with a Boomer. EVO doing a pretty good job being out here, just walking their way towards the alarm card, but the hit is going to come in. Smoker is going to go after a double boom, lands. Jockey lands in the back. Hunter actually bouncing off the Jock press and turning back around, trying to land an intercept. Deck did drop down below. They did not set off the alarm card. Obviously, that's more damage going out on to Coach right there, almost putting him slow.
Yeah, this shouldn't be overlooked about the delay that they had there, because with, I believe, like slightly smaller spawn timers, now you see Deck having to run all the way back, and the hit's basically already up again, so they might be able to get one last scattered hit in before the tank spawns.
Let's see if they choose to capitalize on that in that way. Say there's going to be a Charger, Boomer, Spitter, and a rubber band around my game right here. We do have that Hunter managing to land on a Rochelle. Charger did whiff, but a good amount with that Charger not land.
Yeah, it looks like both Coach and Nick decided to take a bit of a swim through that spit, taking, I think, the longest possible route to get out of the free spit. So I think slightly poor decision on their part. Probably just wanted to stay away from the Boomer, I'm thinking, instead of emptying it away. But tank will be up in the hands of Cheesy himself for Team Moscow here. Unfortunately, as we said earlier.
This?
What? I didn't even know that this room existed. I'm actually super confused.
This room is great according to me. Barren, completely barren, and they're going to try to throw a smoker in there. It's not going to work, and I have been surprised. Rock's going to go in as well. These SI are just kind of like chilling outside. This is going to be officially the first time I've actually seen a team use this strip.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
it's probably my lack of experience showing, but they popped that. Wow. Okay, the Rock does go onto deck, so that's a little bit of damage just trying to kill those spawns. They were able to pop that boomer through the wall, and I think those walls are probably paper thin, but wow, I'm impressed by just the way in which they've managed to finagle themselves into that room.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is something that, you know, is already open, or if the SI or the common affected have to break it open for the survivor team to be able to go into there. But regardless, this is a room. I mean, I haven't played the Pacifies many times, honestly, but yeah, this is the first time I've seen this room play. We do have a nice little single rocket proxy boom going out there from boat onto coach, and it looks like the tank is going to elect to roll in on a second pass. Probably trying to wait for the horde to get in here, but the horde is actually really scattered, so they're not going to get any solid amount of CI coming in here because it's just trickling in.
Yeah, that is actually an advantage in terms of where the survivors can shoot the SI, because there's only one entrance into this entire room, but it's also going to suck for the tank, because he didn't get focus his entire way in, and by the time he's in there, he's already going to be under, what, maybe 4,000 HP if they actually get the chip on him. They are going to try to chip him. And it actually goes AI, so AI tank is going to try to work his way in. Imagine you get a single punch out of the coach. Melee's going out as well. Imagine you smack Nick around a little bit too. More punches going out. SI support coming in. AI tank's doing a pretty good job getting that single corner on his own. Huge dark space right here. Tank actually, imagine you get another punch right there. Out onto deck. A good amount of damage. That rock does not land, so the AI hurts just a little bit there, but he's still got a pretty good amount of damage. The important part for EVO is that they survived.
Yeah, I would say that in terms of an AI tank, that did like definitely pretty astounding damage, honestly. SI support did a pretty good job of getting in there, even regardless that some of it got shut down. But yeah, EVO is now in a spot where they will be taking the lead going into this next chapter, and already that's setting a really strong pace for the rest of this game. We do have a single smoke going out on the back by Cheesy. That's going to get cleared immediately, and not much doing there. Jockey's going to get M2 and shut down, and then we just have some support classes left up that probably won't be doing a whole lot. So yeah, EVO actually has a chance to make the save from here and establish a really significant lead coming into the next chapter.
I think they're probably going to try to engage the switch before the spawns are up. I'll be honest, I never saw that strat employed before, so it was interesting to see exactly how they played it. Nice pick going out on that smoker as well. Looks as though the survivors are going to chill out a little bit and kill some common. Boomer's going to go and manages to get a nice single boom onto deck. Going to be a Hunter and a Charger in the spawn queue right now with another spawn probably about 8 seconds out. This witch might be drawable, but if I'm EVO, I actually might want to run up and just like crown it regularly instead of having to draw it back and start even more horde.
Definitely. So I believe if, like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe if they do not get a perfect crown on this witch, then it will spawn some horde.
They draw it anyway, actually, it's spawn sword. I figured that out,
yeah.
Unfortunately. So we do have a pull going out in the back, Pounce landing in the front onto deck. More damage bonus being hit out there from that pull onto coach. And that should free up the witch, though. Deck's going to go up and is going to nail that perfect crown. 1,900 points, no horde to spawn.
Yeah, so I think it does look like coach is at 1 HP. Not black and white, though, so they're going to have to take at least a couple more hits at this point with coach as slow as he is in the back there. Other than that, yeah, EVO's setting a really good pace so far in this game.
I like it because even though they're playing with the ping disadvantage, they're doing a pretty good job of just, you know, making their way through the map, trying to have most of these hits. The boomers have landed a little bit more probably than they'd want to see. Jockey's going to go in there right now, trying to land onto Nick, getting M2'd around. Charger's going to go and going to miss. The Hunter does manage to land. Now the Jockey does manage to land onto Nick for a little bit more damage. Charger is getting his way out right now. 2 incaps going out. Jockey's going to get M2'd and shut down now, but that's more damage going on to EVO. Despite that, the Charger's going to go in trying to land. Actually wasn't able to get a puncher. It's kind of skating around EVO for a second. They should be able to get this pick up and make their way to the station with a little bit of bonus left.
Yeah, shoutouts to the wedding planners for buying these bulletproof tarps that apparently they could not clear the jockey through, allowing them to get that incap onto Skyline. Very nicely planned by the bride and the groom. Shoutouts to them. But it looks like we will have a bit of a scattered hit coming out here before EVO gets into the safe room. Only a 49 bonus left, so the damage has already been done in terms of the distance that they've made up. They will try to secure the wipe on this asset, though. A very interesting spawn coming out on the little tiny tree by the boomer, getting a quad boom. We do have the rest of the SI coming in here. Spoke it going out for a little bit of time. Hunter lands onto Rochelle, getting that incap, and it looks like we might see a few survivors going out to common damage. Coach is at 1 HP black and white now. Or I guess, no, that's not actually black and white, my bad. But so it looks like survivors will be able to limp into the safe room here, but literally 0 bonus at this point, so it won't make much of a difference at all.
Charter spawning up, trying to get something in there, is going to miss, almost leveled, does get shut down. Jockey and Smoker trying to go in, but as you mentioned, their bonus has been completely depleted, but they do get the full distance points, 500 points for Team EVO, making the map on the away server right here in North America to give them a 163 point lead going into map 2 of the passing right here. It'll be interesting to see exactly now, like, in turning tank spawns and exactly how EVO's. I remember back in the day when they were playing with really, really high ping. I just remember NB doing those kind of strats, similar to the one that we saw right there, where they have a lot of chance of either, like, killing the tank and maybe not doing it with the best amount of health, but surviving was the #1 thing, getting those points on the away servers, and they could come back and score the big bonuses on the Asian server.
Definitely, yeah, and like, honestly, coming back from a deficit is hard enough in Left 4 Dead 2 just because points are so hard to come by against a really strong team. Plus, momentum is a huge aspect in this game too. But to be able to come back from a deficit on an away server on top of the momentum and playing against a strong team, then, you know, it's going to be an extra difficult task for Team Moscow. So they really have to start just getting their survivor play a little bit more together and racking up these points while they have the chance, because it's going to be such a daunting task to try to do that on their away server.
Really, I mean, the problem with them the first map was that tank wipe, I would say, because when they had the opportunity to make that safe room, I mean, I've seen teams make a pretty large bonus, like 900, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,100 points on that first map, and this one's a little bit different because we has Brownie Chunk cookies, that's good, and they needed maybe try to make the safe room here, but 31% tank gives them the chance to wipe EVO pretty soon. However, this tank I haven't really seen be a wipe. They fight it in that large construction area with the water, no water slowdown, and the tank can just not get a whole lot in terms of trying to play rock. He usually gets chipped and he has to commit and doesn't go well, but we'll see how EVO decides to play it. They're going to be on the survivor side right here, and Team of Moscow is going to be on the special infected. Smoker, Charger, Hunter, and a Boomer for this first hit, K3.
Yes, indeed. So they probably wanted to see a spitter for this, but well, I guess they'll take what they can get. I think these stairs are still slightly broken where you can get stuck on them, so you'll have to watch out for that. Looks like they are just trying to play the slow game. EVO definitely, especially on your way server, you want to try to play very patiently and not take any unnecessary risks, because you can employ the same strategies, but execution is a lot more of a difficult thing. So we do actually have a Hunter coming in here trying to start off this hit. Single boom is going to land onto Ellis. Hunter does end up getting shut down, and stumble onto that, onto both Coach and the Charger will allow that to get shut down also. Smoker's probably just going to go in for a bit of a sack here. It does get a couple ticks of damage, but overall pretty nicely taken by Team EVO.
I think that Charger actually got caught on the stairs there after he went in. That was a little bit unfortunate for him, but I completely agree. One of the things that bad ping cannot take away from you among anything is that ability to position yourself smartly. Like, that's the thing where, like, you might not be able to play as aggressively as you want to, and you might not be able to get the shutdown solo frags that you might get with lower ping, but you can sit there and find a way to say, if I stand in this spot, I have the least likely chance of screwing either myself or my team over getting hit by SI, and that's, I think, what we're going to see a lot from EVO. That baiting also does open up. They bait no matter what ping they have usually, but I agree with that, like, sentiment that they're probably going to play it even a little bit more carefully here, and we're seeing that again, that Hunter getting chipped down just a little bit. Spitter, Charger, and a Boomer for the rest of the hit. Boomer's going to spawn up down below, and again, the positioning pays off because all the players are able to jump back, pop that Boomer. That's 1/4 of the hit down, the other half is chipped, and now they're going to start pushing their way outside, maybe into the rest of this hit, but again, just taking it as slow as they possibly want to. Hunter trying to work his way in, going to actually manage to land a nice double cap land. That Charger was a little interesting. And now that is going to be a spit down on that. So again, sometimes even though you bait, it doesn't guarantee they're going to shut down the hit completely.
Yeah, definitely. EVO's done a pretty good job of trying to control the pace of the game, but, you know, very nice patience by Team Moscow, just making sure that they don't get baited out by Team EVO, and just trying to secure as much damage as possible, because they can't really afford to let EVO have a free run. And we do have second tank of the game for Team Moscow up in the hands of Sexypan. We do have a bit of a separation jockey out on the bottom, as well as a double boom. Tank actually is going to like to come right on top of this. Actually going to get an instantaneous corner onto Rochelle, just kind of getting knocked around a bit. It doesn't look like these dumpsters are hittable though. The tank is just getting railed find these Uzis right now and isn't finding any more corners and is going to have to get out at 34% health. That was looking like an absolute disaster for a second, but EVO just somehow managed to bring it back. And now I'd say it's probably the tank that's in the worst position, but he does find a good window for him to throw some rocks as he does land one on the skyline. Holy smokes, I'm out of breath.
That was so unfortunate. Kissy mentioned that jockey there. That smoker pole actually had, I think it was Deck, pulled off the side there for an in cap, and the jockey took the intercept, and that reset the fall height. So he didn't even take damage when he went down. Then that tank got shredded after EVO were able to reposition. That would have been a beautiful wipe coming out from Team Moscow, but instead he's down to 2k HP, and EVO have finagled their way back to the bar right here where they can just stand. They have 4 Uzis too is the big thing. Nice pop going out onto that boomer. That's how that tank was getting shredded so fast. Tank's gonna try to work his way back in, but again, Uzi focus is going out. He gets another punch, but then he is going to be put down in the middle of that area between the bar and the seats. That could have been a huge wipe, K3, but EVO got a little bit lucky, and then they played it pretty well, and they shredded that tank.
Yeah, I think EVO, regardless of the disaster, they managed to put themselves in relatively good positioning, allowed themselves to not get cornered too much, and Tank wasn't able to find those in caps, which I think if Tank got that in cap, that early in cap onto Rochelle, could have definitely changed the entire outcome of that, maybe into a wipe even. But we see EVO out of pills now, regardless of the fact that they are all fast, and they're just trying to book it through all of these chokes right now, not allowing the SI any chances to even try to set up. And yeah, they're just booking it down into the underground.
And they're adjusting themselves accordingly right here. They know they're going to be bleeding. They know they're out of pills. They can easily just kind of push down here a little bit until an area like this where they're confronted with a choke point that they can't just blitz through. Blitzing through this past couple chokes was the right call, especially in my opinion, because the longer they take, the more they're going to bleed out. And I think they're aware of that. All of them doing a really good job at blocking the spawns in the back as well. Ellis sticking his head out down there. This is a point now where they might have to try to transition to the next room or something like that because they're already bleeding as much as I said. It's a Charger Spitter, Jockey, and a Smoker going in right now. Jockey's flying up front, getting kited back up the stairs and eventually shut down. Smoker's down below with that Charger going in. Manuel land a quick pull charge, but the Spitter is going to be a little bit late spawning in front. Does manage to actually get it, gets a little bit more damage out onto EVO, but again, that's about what's going to be expected with that kind of ping at a choke point like that.
Yeah, but we do see, now that we see the survivors starting to get slow, down, like, this whole area is basically one continuous choke point, so I don't see the survivors necessarily making safe room, but just the fact that they're able to make it consistently past these tanks, regardless of what large trials may be placed in their way. It's just speaking numbers in terms of how impressive Team EVO's survivor play is, regardless of the ping differential between the players. We do see a bit of a single boom going on there. Charger's going to walk in there, get the in-cap onto Ellis, and landing a charge onto Rochelle for a 10 extra damage. Ellis is taking all the critical horde damage right now, and they will secure the shutdown on the rest of the SI. But yeah, EVO just consistently taking damage from the hits, which is, I think, what's most important for Team Moscow, is that they just get at least some amount of damage on each hit and not get completely shut down.
Exactly. I mean, the more points right now that EVO is making, the more it's going to increase their chance to win the match as a whole, obviously, because they're doing this well so far. They're going to have almost about 1,000 points already on the away server, which is pretty good for playing with a ping that's around, like, what, between 160, 170, and 234? So that's pretty good, just judging from the tab scores. If they can survive this and make it halfway through the event, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Team Moscow. They're coming from the back. Jockey's managing to land. Hunter landing as well. That is going to be a rolling 3-cap into that spit. Lots of damage going out onto the survivor team. That Jockey actually still going all the way back up the stairs. And forget everything I just said. Their chances of surviving that event did just go down pretty far, especially with Nick dropping back into that spit for even more damage.
Yeah, we actually saw that, I think, with the speed of the Jockey and the impossibility of resisting it. Yeah, I think that Ellis was not able to actually physically catch up to him, so if he didn't get that clear through the stairs, then would have been donezo for Nick at the top. So we do have a bit of a single boom going on here, trying to secure the wipe onto Team EVO. It looks like it won't be happening though. There's a ton of instantaneous shutdowns coming out by Team EVO. Nicely done by them. Looks like Nick is going to drop down there and get the self-clear on the Smoker, and they're going to keep living their way. It's trying to secure a couple extra points before the chapter ends.
Exactly, and this face rolling doesn't seem to be a whole lot, but trust me, it is. Like, with each single step that they take, they're getting more points to add to their total right here, and that's more work than that Team Moscow is going to have to do. I mean, obviously, if Team EVO somehow finds a way to win on the North American server, I don't know if we would see a game 2, but right now they're doing a pretty good job just playing this as a single game working their way through. They have, you know, the white map 1, especially to their names. Quad Boom did go out. Waiting for the rest of the head to come in, it looks like. That Spitter and Charger are coming from the back. Jockey's managing to land. Nice charge and spit landing right there. That's a death out onto Ellis. Charger whipping back around, trying to find anything right there. We do have Skyline, who's going to be black and white as he's getting back up, and then also TIMA is at 1 HP. So whatever they get right here is going to be just, again, just small points going out. That's going to be the in-cap on the Nick, and then Deck and Skyline are going to keep pushing the way forward.
Yeah, that was a nice play on the previous hit. Ellis actually had a perfect double lineup on that charger that was down the hallway. But Jockey came in and was able to stumble Ellis before he could get that off. Looks like Smoker and Jockey are going to tag team Rochelle, secure the wipe. Chapter score total is going to be 569, putting the total up to 1,069 points. So yeah, about 700 and a few points up above, 732 I think. And yeah, now we need to see a performance from Team Moscow if they want to be able to bring this, back. Definitely this chapter and a couple of the sacrifice chapters have the most point possibilities. They definitely don't want to go down by much more, let alone get wiped at the tank. We just had a horrible pace for them.
It would, and I mean the pace that Team EVO is on right now is that they're scoring around 500 points a chapter, and that doesn't sound like a whole lot. But since there are 5 campaigns or 5 chapters in this stitched together campaign, you can see a score of 2,500 coming out on the away server right now from what they've been doing. So it doesn't seem like a whole lot. It doesn't seem too grand. It's just kind of quietly pushing their way along. You know, yeah, okay, they're face on the map at a couple points, but that's what you kind of do. You play with red ping versus green ping. On the other side of things, Team Moscow needs to try to take control of this game once again. They are on Survivor now. Team EVO is still infected. It's going to be a Charter, Smoker, Boomer, and a Hunter for this first alley hit right here. And of course, we've mentioned a couple times about getting stuck on these stairs, so we'll see if the Survivors and SI can avoid that conundrum as they prepare to engage here. That Hunter is already spawned up, making a little bit of noise. Boomer's on top of the air unit right there, and actually going to decide to reposition. And now we're seeing the North American team bait K3.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what they kind of have to do if they want to bring this back. They can't get antsy. They can't start to get impatient with their play. They have to play at full capacity the whole time if they want any hope of trying to make this comeback, at least on their own server, right? So we do see the Horde timer is starting to tick down here, but the hit will come in here. It looks like the Hunter got shut down very quickly. Charger's going to miss there, but there is a pull out on top of this free boom, and Charger is going to get some punches out. This is actually turning into a lot of damage. What looked like a pretty solid shutdown has turned into quite significant damage. And Nick walking right past Coach and missing the clear and allowing about 10 extra damage going out onto Coach. So Cheesy not with the top tier awareness, unfortunately, and yeah, a lot of smoker damage coming out onto Sexy Phantom. So nicely done by Team EVO. Probably that's as much damage as Team Moscow put onto Team EVO on their SI half, probably after the first 3 hits, and they've already put this much out. And Sexy Phantom is now slow.
That hit right there got shut down that 2-2, but that first hit was kind of inexcusable. I mean, 56 smoker damage on the first hit's kind of crazy, and in an area like that where the 3 survivors, they have the low ping, so there shouldn't have been that much of an issue pushing through it. I guess the problem right now is that since Sexy Phantom is going to be slow, as you mentioned, after just 2 hits, like any more damage that they possibly go on him could set up for a pretty long tank if they decide to pull away. If, of course, the survivors don't find a way to get themselves caught in the alley and almost wiped from a said tank hit. A nice ball of punches after a commit. So let's see what our friends on Team Moscow decide to do. Team EVO's next hit's a Hunter, Boomer, Charger, and a Jockey. And again, looks as though Team Moscow is trying to slow play it a little bit more, maybe try to keep things under control in that way. But at the point it's like heading towards right now, I would say Team EVO definitely has the momentum in their favor.
Definitely. I believe the tank... Oh, I thought that they need to walk across the plank to get the tank up, but it looks like they don't. So survivors are going to be able to kind of walk around. I think they're debating on where to take this. They do not know where to go. They're going up and down the stairs, and now the tank is having actually didn't take the fastest route out there, and looks like the survivors will be able to make it back out into the open area by the destroyed truck. But yeah, that could have spelled disaster for the survivors if the tank had been a little bit quicker and been able to cut them off.
The only way that worked out is because both the survivors and the tank got a little bit misplaced there, I'm pretty sure. Now, Deck is going to try to work his way around back here. Maybe going to try to transition to the roof or something. Maybe decide to go for a commit. And Hunter Charger Jockey's, I guess, okay for this area, but again, depends on what the tank really wants to do. Looks as though they're going to be setting a hit in right now so he can transition to the roof. We have that Charger and Jockey both getting shut down. Hunter trying to land as well. Rock going in, almost clipping the side of Ellis's face right there. We do see the Hunter landing, and this is why a commit tank in this area is so difficult, because a lot of the survivors can go up there to the top of that dumpster, and that's hard for the SI to spawn on them due to the fact they cannot spawn on that building above.
Yeah, on the other hand, it's also pretty easy to play a solid rock tank here, because it's difficult for the survivors to find a spot where they can consistently LOS without being in danger of taking any rocks. That being said, though, from the survivor pressure before, Deck is on second pass, so it looks like he will be having to commit on this next hit. Not ideal support here, probably would have liked a boomer, but we do have a bit of a pull going on here. The commit did go out. Support's actually going in pretty early. I'm not sure if I agree with that, before any punches came out, and all the support is now down. They did find a bit of a corner onto Moscow, but he does find a way out of that. Deck did retarget onto Sexy Phantom and found a new corner onto him.
Damage spread.
Yeah, now he gets the turnaround onto Cheesy, and there's a bit of a pause going out. It looks like Sexy Phantom is spiking his ping up there. So yeah, what started to look like pretty much a shutdown on the tank turned into actually a ton of damage, just done by Deck's nice tank punches.
Tank does eventually die, but that was an insane amount of damage. Great tank play by Deck right there. Moving in first, I think it was on Nick, and then retargeting the Coach. Or no, it was actually Rochelle first. I'm sure they retargeted onto Coach. Then he moved back and started whacking Nick around a little bit too. Like, that was just a great way to completely shatter any and all hopes for Team Moscow of making this map with bonus. I mean, they have one person who has a sliver of health left, two other people out who are about to be slow, and then Boat has all the permanent HP. Smoker's gonna get a pull out right here under Rochelle. Somehow not clear, but she lands on top of the fire barrel. She doesn't go down, but Cheesy is separated up. Gonna be down by that spit. Charter going in, actually decided to bypass the survivors. He was juking them out right there, trying to go for Rochelle, but that's a huge amount of separation going out. This spitter is still up as well, and this is actually going to be a death on the Cheesy if I'm not mistaken because of that horde. The spitter might be able to delay this a little bit to secure it. It's going to try to spit down right here. It's going to be really, really close. If that jockey control at all, that should be a death, and that Smoker's still up too. That is going to be the death on the Cheesy. Smoker's going to try to go in again, and K3 right now, Team Moscow are not helping their case at the moment, especially with the Charter going in again, trying to land on the Sexy Phantom, does die after a couple more punches.
Yeah, as I said earlier in this game, at the beginning of the game, that the SI side is probably the most important side for the away team, and EVO has just shown us how a solid SI side can just be such a dominating force regardless of how much ping you have. And honestly, if the SI of Team EVO stays as solid as it is right now, then we might not even see a game 2. And looks like, yeah, Team Moscow is just being overwhelmed by these hits. They're just taking damage on every single hit, and they can't get these consistent shutdowns. And yeah, another thing is that they keep eating these boomers, and they need to start popping these boomers if they want to be able to move at the pace that they need to move.
Alright, thanks.
Right now, I mean, because they've taken that much damage and they've eaten that much horde, they're probably looking to wipe maybe before the event. Jockey landing out back onto Ellis as well. Charger, Hunter, and a Spitter for the next. Charger looks like he's going to go get that despawn. And then the pace from, I almost want to say NV's SI, but it's not NV, it's EVO's SI, has been pretty good, I would say. And again, that just as you can't take away good survivor positioning, you also can't take away effective chemistry. Charger's going to go in there, actually managed to chest bump a small amount of blocked wood on the floor to get that almost chest bump basket. Actually, it looks as though Coach can't escape that spit puddle in the corner, so another down going on to Sexy Phantom. And I mean, it's not a question of whether or not they're going to wipe, it's a question of when. That Hunter got beautifully Uzi skeeted though, and that Smoker does get cleared after a couple more ticks of damage.
Yeah, it looked like that definitely could have been the wipe right there had Moscow not gotten that nice skeet onto the Hunter. But yeah, they're just trying to get any kind of punches they can here before they get wiped on this map. Now, they're going to have 3 maps of the sacrifice to be able to make this back. But you know, I'd say most of the sacrifice maps are relatively survivor-oriented, especially map 2. So, yeah, I think that there's definitely a high possibility for them to be able to make the points back. It's just going to be if they can speak against this momentum that's EVO's been building up throughout this game so far.
Again, more chip damage going out from that Hunter Scratch, and we saw an in-cap taken by Boat. He did have the last permanent HP for Team Moscow, and depending on whether or not they wipe, like, maybe when they're dropping into the sewer system, or when they're, like, taking the tour underneath the river, it's probably going to be pre-event at this rate, because they keep getting boomed every single hit. And obviously, one of them, I think, Sexy Phantom is black and white. He did just find an extra set of pills, so that's going to help him out a little bit. Looks as though the SI are going to be sending this hit soon. It's going to be a Smoker, Spitter, and a Charger going in. Spitter spawning up behind Smoker as well. There's your in-cap out onto Rochelle. Charger is going to miss that charge. That is going to be another in-cap, I believe, out on... Oh, actually close to an in-cap out on the Boat. Not quite. But again, more bleed time, more in-caps going out, and that's going to be just, again, Team Moscow taking these hits to the face. Jockey actually spawning inside the wall over there, poking his head through the wood, getting the next in-cap out on the Boat. Sexy Phantom trying to cut that Smoker around. M2ing that Jockey is going to be able to shut down, but the Smoker control. Charger is in the spawn queue as well, and he really can't... I mean, maybe he can block that spawn trying to get that pickup. That's a pretty good move by Phantom there. Then he's going to move to that Smoker. That actually let the Boomer and the Charger both spawn behind. Smoker is going to get cleared. Charger going in, that's 433, maybe a little bit less than HP. Trying to land is going to get leveled, but again, this is just delaying the inevitable at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm really impressed by Team EVO's SI play so far. They've really just shown how exceptional the chemistry that they have is, and you know, Deck showing that regardless of how inactive he may have been playing in tournaments, that he's definitely still got it, and there's still a force to be reckoned with. So looks like, well, actually, if they can keep this delay going, they might just be able to secure the wipe right here. His boat is almost dead. It looks like they might get the showdown on the Smokey though, but the Smokey.
Smokey's gonna get shut down. It's a Smoker Jockey hybrid going in right now. They are gonna land the pull out on the coach. More damage going on to him, and again, he is black and white. Another Charger Boomer up for Team EVO right here. Charger spawning behind the blocks up there, just making more and more trolling onto the survivors. Still waiting for a reload, maybe. Gonna go in, actually gonna manage to kill Sexy Phantom with the long charge. Deck managing to get that, and that Deck's Charger plus that boom, wiping Team Moscow, and this is not going well. Boat giving his team some positive words of encouragement.
Yeah, so we are going to load into the sacrifice stage. All 3 maps of the sacrifice will be played. There's lots of point possibility, especially on map 2, as I said earlier. So, you know, the possibility is still there, but like we're going to need to see a total turnaround from Team Moscow. They have to play a lot tighter as Survivor. They cannot flub their SI hits. They really just need to play absolutely perfect if they're going to want to have any chance of at least taking like the best of 3. Or I guess rather best of 2.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely still have that chance to, but the problem right now is that being this far behind, almost 400 points on your own home server to see the first couple maps, this is a map, too, that, well, you said it is relatively Survivor side, I agree. I've seen this tank go really, really badly for Survivor teams, depending on, I don't know, positioning and that kind of stuff. Earlier in the day, it wiped and got a lot more damage on a couple teams than I thought it would have, and I mean, obviously, EVO's positioning is something that they're going to try to be precise about. They've done a pretty good job with that so far, and where they've gotten into trouble is the typical areas of high ping and that kind of stuff, you know, in close spaces where they can't quite juke as fast, they can't quite be relying on their M2s, a couple other things like that where they can't be as accurate, but if they stay in that same kind of positioning, I can see them shutting down this tank pretty well, and if EVO makes it safe from here, I'm going to be extremely impressed.
Yeah, definitely. So looks like we are just waiting on Team Moscow's last player in boat to ready up here. First, looks like their survivors are going to try to be pushing up as soon as possible. Yeah, I think that you know, just based on the Team Moscow's in-game chat, it looks like the tires on their team are starting to deflate a little bit, and they're just really gonna have to just pump that air back into them and really start to play a little bit more solid. Because I know just from personally playing with all these players that in terms of just personal skill, they have all the skill that they need in order to make this comeback. They just need that synergy to just click.
They do, and I mean, in the competition, quote-unquote, between the 2 ringers individually, too, that's something that we talked about coming into this game that's going to change the normal chemistry of the teams. I know in this situation specifically, I don't know exactly how much Cheesy has played, but I know Cheesy and Boat go back a pretty long ways right there. I was surprised to see Boat come out of quasi. I guess it actually was a retirement. I mean, although people, trust me, people never actually retire. Don't even start on how many times I've tried to retire and then come out. But I mean, when Boat came back, Cheesy coming back too was interesting because like a couple of years probably did diminish that kind of chemistry that they've got playing together right now. But it doesn't seem like Team Moscow as a whole has been that much on point. I think the real issue too for them is that while that's going the way that it's going, like their Survivor hasn't seemed, I guess, maybe as accurate as Team EVO's because it's a difference in styles, like shotgun versus Uzis, that kind of stuff, like focus on fragging versus positioning, whatever you want to say. But right now, that should not be the result that they're getting on the home server for a bevy of reasons.
Yeah, so I believe these teams are both 3-1, yes?
I believe so, yes. I know that Team Moscow is definitely 3-1. Yeah, I guess EVO is also 3-1 as well. I guess EVO has only lost to the Element of Surprise.
Right, so with 7 rounds of Swiss, I believe, and a top 16, I believe that every single team that goes 5-2 will make it in, or better, and then we will have some teams that are 4-3 that will come down to resistance. So regardless of the outcome of this, both teams will have a strong chance of making it into the final 16. But you know, seeding does mean a lot once you get into the bracket. So Team Moscow really just trying to show that they're a force to be reckoned with, and we'll try to be taking this game back in their hands.
Let's see if they're able to do it. First, it's going to be a Spitter, Boomer, Hunter, and a Jockey right here. We have that Boomer getting nicely popped, Hunter getting shut down, Jockey also getting not much of anything, Deck taking a little bit of spit damage right there. And was that actually an M2 that went out on that Hunter?
I mean, it's Left 4 Dead 2. Regardless of how many fixes you may try to implement into this game, Left 4 Dead 2 is so broken at this point that, you know, it's not a big surprise that something like that will happen. You know, so I do believe that was probably an M2.
Oh good, we can dead stop Hunter on the server. It's just Deck. Only Deck can dead stop Hunters on the server. It's one of those perks that he gets for playing with NV for so long. Nice pop going out onto that Boomer once again by Deck. Hunter, Charger, and Spitter going in. Hunter's going in, managing to land onto Deck right there. That's going to be even more damage going out because of that Spitter. That's a good amount of damage, that, man. Whatever, if that wasn't M2, it didn't go out. The Witch is now going to get pulled, actually managing to hit Deck once before he gets back on his feet and his team finishes that crown. So, good amount of damage now going out on the Deck.
Yeah, a bit of a weird spot to direct on that Witch just because of all these rocks and very not straight terrain for the Witch to have a good pathing. Yeah, the Witch being as weird as she is, you don't want to try to play games with the pathing that she might take. So, slightly questionable to go for the draw crown, but at least they didn't take a full on cap. Do you see this next hit up here, though? It will be a Smoker, Hunter, Jockey, and Boomer, and right as I say that there's a Hunter in their lineup, it gets completely annihilated by Team EVO, and the rest of their hit really not getting much damage at all. So nicely shut down by Team EVO there, and they will be coming up to this next tank fight, a pretty crucial tank, I would say, because Team EVO has a lot of health under their belts right now, and even more points. So yeah, Team Moscow really has to start securing this wipe.
Here come the 4 Uzi strats as well, which is a hallmark of a lot of teams who also used to play back in the day. Tank is up in the hands of Boat for Team Moscow right here, going for that early chip, our Team EVO. And, I mean, on that last hit that we saw, it was pretty evidentiary that they know what to focus. If they managed to kill the Hunter, and then they killed the Boomer, then they cleared the rest. Tank is going to go for a transition right here. All 4 Uzis railing into him, under 4,500 health left after just that transition. And I'm surprised he didn't send the rest of the hit for at least a distraction. This is going to be rough on Team Moscow right here in this area, because 4 Uzis is going to be pretty... And they're actually distance Uzis, so they can get a pretty good amount of chip. And they actually did have one survivor re-pick up a shotgun, I believe, to keep those rocks. Smoker is going to get picked, Rock going in. Hunter's going to get shut down. Jockey also shut down. Nice handle by EVO.
Yeah, and Rock did hit one of those piles of bricks. Those brick piles, and another boat too, which is actually a boat hitting the boat there. Okay, so it is actually a bit of a risky thing to hit those pseudo-hittables because they're a total wild card in this game because they can just flail randomly and deal actually a solid amount of damage out there. So yeah, we do see a bit of a hit coming in here. Boomer's walking from really far away, definitely not going to get anything there. Charger destroying another one of these little boats, and yeah, just another really solid shutdown. by Team EVO, and they're just running circles around the tank, LOSing it, and it will go to second pass. Taking a ton of chip at the same time, down to 67% health, and things are not looking good for the SI of Team Moscow.
No, they are not. This tank is going to have to try to knock his car in and probably commit this. He only has, as we mentioned, just over 4,000 HP left. Uzi's still doing work on him. That car is going to roll over two of the survivors who almost got hit right there. Zoe and Bill almost took a double in-cap from that hittable, but this is going to be, I think, Boat committing the tank. It actually looks like they're going for potentially another hit. I don't know about that. Boomer going into everything annihilated, flying out of the sky. Rock going to manage to land on to Bill, but unfortunately for the tank, he is already second pass. This is going to be a full, like, I don't know, probably 10 seconds of LOS coming out right here, unless Boat's able to transition. And I guess he's going to try to keep playing a rock tank here for a little while, because maybe he can't commit with that HP. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that was a really crucial rock, because the tank would definitely be AI at this point if they hadn't got that. But we're just flat walking up into the survivors and getting that single boom, walking up slowly and getting a single boom. Charger did whiff, and actually we do see another rock landing, so I guess this rock strat's kind of sort of working out. I mean, they're not getting a ton of damage, and Boat is taking a lot of chip, now under 50% health. But you know, hey, if they keep landing these rocks, they could try to drag this out for longer and get the speed out. They have committed all their kills at this point.
And
oh, never mind, they just found more.
Rock tank here on high ping is hard to fight against. We have the tank getting close to a rock here, probably going to get it onto Zoe, and indeed he does. Jockey is also landing onto the right side there. Charter goes in. At this point, I think Envy are going to get a little bit, maybe not frustrated, but yeah, he had 5 rage when we landed that last rock. I think it was a rage rock onto Zoe. Another rock going in, not going to land. It looks as though EVO are at the point where they're ready to say, screw this, we're going to push forward. Some of the survivors are still shipping the tank, and that rock almost landed onto Lewis. That was close. I think they're going to probably push it forward, or they're just going to sit there and kill the tank. It's down to under 1,000 HP. They've done so much damage to him from range.
Yeah, these Uzis have destroyed this tank. It's from so far away, just because it's been having to stand out a little bit more in the open because of his second pass. Tank actually hitting the rock onto the car, almost tilting the car on top of 2 survivors. That was also very nice 3-boom going out there. His Boomer is definitely probably the MVPs of this tank fight so far, as they have allowed the tank to land a lot of rocks and extend the tank fight longer than... Wow, that rock almost landing. Yeah, but now it looks like the survivors will be pushing forward. I definitely agree with this play, as the tank is almost dead, and all survivors are bleeding out and are starting to go slow. Boat's going to try to follow them and throw some more rocks, but he's quickly declining in rage and will probably soon be going AI. So a few scattered SI coming in here, but just kind of getting shut down, and I don't know, if they don't start taking up these SI hits, then the survivors still might be able to make safe room on this.
They're in a pretty good position still, survivor-wise. Obviously, that tank didn't go quite as well as they wanted to from the survivor perspective, but now it is going to be AI, going to wander its way in there, and it's going to get shot, on fire, and eventually brought down. We do have a separation pull going out into the back, and that Uzi did just get boomed on as well, so that's going to be a good amount of separation onto a Lewis for a little bit right there. And that's a lot of damage coming out from EVO TIMA. He did about 3,500 damage to that tank on his own. So good on them. That is one way to kill the tank like that. Obviously not the cleanest way. Jockey is going to land onto the aforementioned Lewis down below. Spit's going to go down onto the in-cap survivor. But again, if Team EVO makes a safe room with this, I think they're going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Skyline is actually still sitting at a very nice amount of HP. So I think Team Moscow definitely is looking to secure the rest of this wipe now. I guess they increased the amount of total distance on this map up to 600. I didn't actually know that.
I think it's actually, yeah, it's either 6 or 7. I'm pretty sure it's 600. I might be wrong about that, but looks as though EVO are going to have the position now. I think they found one of those pills and are going to be able to bait it out right here. Smoker's going to go in. Imagine we complete that pull. We are going to have a almost tri-cap going out. 3-boom as well. Charter getting a punch down on the start right there. That was a messy take, I would say, from Team EVO, due to the fact that there's still more damage going on to Zoe. It was the health bonus. They did not clear that early pull, and after that happened, that opened up the other SI spawns to undercut them. That's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, Charger got 3 solo punches out onto Skyline. Took her down from, I think it was like probably like 70 HP down to almost none at all. And now it's definitely looking like it's going to be wiped onto Team EVO. Although not they haven't taken this wipe for free though. Looks like Team EVO is going to be up by almost 1,000 points going into the second half of this round.
They still have 200 bonus as well. Charger dropping down, nice double charge going out with the spit as well. Charger is now going to get cleared. Hunter is looking for a pounce onto the separated Bill in front, going to find it, and that clear is going to be a little slow going out, so that's the rest of their bonus pretty much obliterated. But again, they're actually playing above their average from the first two maps. Like, they've scored on their over 1,600 points so far. That means it's around, like, again, over 500 this chapter, so that's good for them. Again, they're making pretty much the full distance on these maps, and as, yeah, as a matter of fact, it is actually 700 distance on this map.
Oh yeah, I guess we think there is a little tiny spot underneath the grading there that you can go into. Looks like this will probably end up as the wipe here. Yeah, there is a pull. Oh, actually, getting the selfie onto the smoker. I see that by him, but the jockey will secure this. I'm interested that this map is actually worth 700 points. That seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's why a lot of people have said, at least in our observations, that it's probably one of the maps out of the 5 here that we play that has the highest scoring potential. But as we just saw right there, it's hard to do that if the team doesn't play the tank correctly. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. It's going to happen in every map, but it seems to be a definite possibility because there is only ever one tank spawn on this map, and it's inside that train. You'd think with a tank in a chippable position like that, you'd be able to take advantage of the fact that it's the same stack spawn over and over again, but the Survivor teams keep taking an inordinate amount of damage, and that's essentially what wiped EVO there because they were slow post-tank, and then they weren't able to shut down those hits either. But again, this will be really interesting now. I don't know, but the way Team Moscow's played so far, they're going to need to change something this chapter, especially on that tank if they want any chance of getting back into this at all.
Yeah, definitely. So not a huge amount of damage potential on this first hit, but we'll see them try to make something work with it. Hunter is going to get skeeted, and the jockey's going to get pretty quickly cleared from off the survivors. So these are the kind of shutdowns that we need to see the survivors be making for the rest of it. Bit of miscommunication as Boat does pop the boomer onto Sexy Phantom. Not a big deal there, as with this solid thing, they will be able to pretty much push right through this forward and hopefully pass this next choke point. So Team Moscow definitely looking to shut down these hits a little bit more like they have to shut down that last one.
We have a shout out from Kotex to K3's mom. Alright then. So the next hit is coming in. Nice skeet going out onto that Hunter. Jockey getting shut down as well. Charger working his way in, not going to land. Spit's going to go down onto nothing. That's a better shutdown than what we've seen from Team Moscow mostly so far. And the Witch Crown is going to go out right now by Boat. Cleanly done. No damage really going out from those first couple hits. And this is what Team Moscow needs to maintain.
Yeah, I also have a shout out to my mom as well, just because she's currently preparing me with butter chicken, and which is an amazing thing to be casting with, especially since we're going to be potentially casting you guys double header in a second here. So at least I hope so, because I'm hoping that Team Moscow will at least be able to develop the synergy to bring this up to a game 2. We do see a smoker coming in there, getting shut down pretty quickly. Hunt Spit landing for a little bit of damage, but the spread was suboptimal to say the least. And so they will be able to get up into this tank area without taking much damage at all. So they're in a very solid position to take this tank pretty well. They just need to focus on their positioning and not eating those rocks, and I think that they might do fine.
Jockey landed for a bit of hit damage in the back. We might see them save the rest of this hit for that tank spawn and then transition, because those Uzis railed Team EVO's tank as soon as it spawned up, and I think that would be the right call in this specific situation. And it looks as though Team Moscow might be looking at exactly where they want LOS to fight this, like where they're going to basically hang out, different stuff like that, just to make sure that they have the top chance of taking this cleanly. We're actually going to see a pull off the boat, and that was Boat getting pulled off the boat, so okay, that's cool.
I mean, we already made that meme that you're a little late.
I had to say what was going on. Take in the hands of Skyline for Team EVO. He actually is going to transition out. As much chip. He's only going to take what?
Yeah, 600 damage or so. Rails, are you lagging?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just checking because it definitely sounded like you're lagging. Which is a very impressive curved rocket boom coming in there. Ooh, it's this car rolling in there, almost landing on top of 2 or more survivors. Tank is actually opting to commit on the single boom. Very nice charge landing onto Lewis there, who was boomed. Tank will find this very easy corner onto Lewis, who is still single boomed. And it looks like this probably will be an in-cap. Yes, it is. Tank has been taken down to about 50% health. There is a single pull going out there for a little bit. So Tank does get out there after taking a lot of damage. Amazing quad boom. Boomer just actually climbs up right on top of the fence and does not get shut down at all. I think the survivor awareness there was not on fleek. And Rock coming out on going to land onto Bill. And actually the common does put Lewis back down onto the ground. So while that was looking like it would have ended pretty well for the survivors, that quad boom definitely puts the Team Moscow in a pretty terrible position, and they have to get this pickup onto Lewis, and it's just not happening.
It's really not, and the rest of that horde is just clearing up right now. That tank still has sight for days up there effectively, and these rocks are getting point blank skeeted by those Uzis, almost landing. We're gonna see that Jack going, nice Hunter going in as well. This could be the 3-cap almost. More stumbles going out right there, but that Hunter's getting an absolute insane amount of damage. Rock going in, imagine the in-cap boat. This is disastrous right now for Team Moscow. They just got in-capped in one of the worst positions possible on this map. They're finally going to get Sexy Phantom back up, but we might see them having to push this as well, trying to keep that rock. Obviously it did go a little bit over, so it did miss, but if I'm them, there's no way you can sit here bleeding out with 4 survivors. They're gonna try to OS though.
Yeah, regardless of the outcome of the rest of this chapter now, they've already taken so much damage that it's just gonna be such a pain, and they're gonna make up, you know, a maximum of like 500 points or so if they make it with the current health and damage bonus that they have. So yeah, things are not looking good for Team Moscow. Shoutouts to that one really good rocket boom that came in that set off that whole thing. Regardless of the fact that it was just a single boom, Tank was able to just come in on that and get that early corner, which just set a cascading chain reaction that led to the survivors' destruction that we see them at right now.
That doesn't improve your use of one fleek. Either that or it killed Migo. I think that's what happened. We have another boom going in, gang. A tri-boom. Hunter waiting to go in as well. Jockey's going to land. Tank is just going to be literally shooting fish in a barrel right here. That Hunter did get shut down, and this actually could be the wipe going out onto Team Moscow. Moscow himself, though, did manage to melee skip that Hunter. Tank jumping in, trying to catch Zoe right there. Successfully going to catch Zoe into that corner. And he's going to land a nice multi-punch right there for 2 in-caps. Cheesy, the last one up. Rock going in, managing to land on a beautiful rock. Skyline playing a fantastic tank right now. Charter spawning up, going in, and there's the rock to end it. Beautiful wipe by Team EVO, and now they are in serious position to win this game and potentially this series.
Yeah, definitely. Just a quick shout out to whoever criticized my use of words. If I cared what people thought about me in this community, then I would have left a long time ago. Because trust me, I receive consistently constant criticism, and if someone criticizing me for saying the words on fleek is not going to make me flinch at this point, so nice try to whoever that was, but I'm here to stay, and I will. If anything, it will only encourage me. So yeah. Anyway, very nicely done by Team EVO. I think they've won every single chapter so far. And yeah, they've just been really just dominating on their SI side, and yeah, they're just making this more and more of a difficult task for Team Moscow. And this is the last chapter that has a lot of good point potential, so it's pretty much now or never. I think if Team Moscow can't at least make a relatively significant comeback on this map, then I'm thinking it might be curtains for them.
It could be. We have the sit coming in here right now. Charge going out in front, getting instantly cleared. Spit's going to go down on a pulled survivor, but not even that much damage going out. Just 8 total right there. And at this point, like, this event is maybe going to be the thing that's going to be the biggest obstacle. Yeah, tank maybe, but that's in an open area, so the ping may not be as much of an influence as you think it would be. But the commons on that hill, plus the speed reduction, are going to be a nightmare for EVO on this ping. We do have that witch up as well. It's going to be a Jockey, Smoker, Boomer, and a Charger for the next hit from Team Moscow. Let's see if they are able to capitalize on this. Smoker jump spawning into the tree. Boomer getting shut down. Smoker getting cleared. Charger going into a wide open area. And EVO is going to draw the Witch. Jockey goes in, manages to land, knocking around Francis, who is not going to get that second shot either. Deck going down. They need to kill that Witch right away. Indeed, they do. That's a little bit more damage than you'd like to see if you're EVO from that area, just because they had half the hit already shut down, and that Jockey was the only thing that made that kind of distraction.
Yeah, and I stand by them allowing Dex to take that ink up there. Definitely pretty crucial. Trying to check what the tank percentage is, and it's at 54%, so there is a little bit more time to go here before this tank spawns, and they will for sure have somebody bleeding out for that, and still at least a couple more hits to take before that tank spawns. So, especially with a tank in this map that, you know, it can be taken in so many different open areas, it's really important to have that early bleed out. We actually have another nice hit coming in here. 2-cap landing in these small rooms. Swift's gonna go down. Isn't going to spread inside the closet. They're very unfortunate for the SI team, as the spread inside the closet would have spelled certain doom for Star, who was capped by that Jockey for a little bit. But there was a pretty okay amount of damage that went out from that hit, especially considering the force setup. So definitely, these are the kind of plays that Team Moscow needs to continue to make throughout the rest of this game if they're going to want any shot of trying to bring this back.
Indeed, and for anybody wondering, K3 was on a team called Strong and Independent, so if you need to have any other questions about his personality and or attitude, that's all you really need to know. I just want to point that out there. This Boomer is not going to be close enough to that alarm car and his distance to the survivors in order to actually set that off. It's going to be a Jockey, Smoker, and a Charger for the rest. Obviously, they might wait for that spitter, but EVO, again, just kind of baiting it out. Smoker going for a pull in the back. Going to get self-cleared. Charger is going to get beautifully taken out by Deck right there. Level with 170 ping, or actually rather a clear onto a Charger who had his teammate grabbed. And again, a beautiful shutdown by the Survivor team of Team EVO. They're playing great, K3, for having that high up ping.
Absolutely. As you mentioned earlier, they're most likely no strangers to playing with high ping, but just the amount of really consistently solid plays that they've been able to make out throughout during this game, it's just, you know, showing just how high ping when you're playing with good chemistry. While it's definitely a handicap, it can still be worked with, and you can play really solidly against high caliber teams such as Team Moscow, regardless of what kind of ping deficit you might have. We have an interesting Boomer spawn trying to get out there. Looks like it is going to land, and, as well as a crazy long moon rock landing from Moscow, who is our tank. And it looks like another one landing. Team EVO is not skidding these rocks, and two quick ones hitting Rochelle with the Okie Doke rock come from across the map. So and that will put Zoe into the red zone health, and now they have 2 people bleeding out for the rest of the tank, which is pretty important to have.
The tank is up in the hands of the namesake Moscow, as K3 did mention the literal reason that team is named Team Moscow. And as D-Ping said in chat, contrary to popular belief, Moscow is not in Russia. Another rock going in right there. Charger not going to land. We see the level going out. All the SI getting shut down. And it looks as though Moscow is going to get LOS here behind this boat by Team EVO. They have 1 set of pills left to him. 2 survivors bleeding out. A couple other survivors with a pretty good amount of permanent health. But he's going to have to start working his hittables in, I believe, unless EVO gives him a sight. They're not going to. He's on second pass. This is going to force the commit. Working his 1 car in right now, popping it over the guardrail. Let's see if he elects to go for dumpster, but he's actually really low already. He's on 55% second pass. He might have just that 1 car if the survivors again decide to drop back in LS, and never mind, 2 cars. That's all I think he's going to get. So he's going to fit with this. Smoker, Jockey, and a Charger for the next hit. Ooh, that car going up! Almost falling onto Lewis's face.
Lewis almost jumping into the car.
And he picks the Smoker, too. I'm a T, just not carrying that car. Missed!
What?
Oh, my goodness. That's going to bounce off the pole right there. Still hitting that car around. Moscow not in the optimal position right now. Charger is also going to be up trying to work its way in. I cannot believe that car missed.
Yeah, it looks like Moscow did not attend his classes at the K3 Car Academy. Definitely missing that car that looked pretty free with Lewis in the water and capped by a Jockey. There he does actually secure the car hit onto Francis, and as well as the first grind out hit. They are going to probably almost certainly go for this kill, and it looks like they will. 1 more hit will do it onto Deck, but the hit does not register. They finally get the kill onto Deck. After a non-registered car hit on top of his in cap. It was looking pretty scary, but nice last-second car hit coming out by Moscow is able to secure a kill, and I think that's a minimum. That's a minimum that they needed to put out onto Team EVO if they want to be able to make this comeback. So now they're in a relatively okay position. Are you okay that? Would you like a paper bag to stop your hyperventilating?
No, I'm just looking at EVO's team chat right now. They're having a little bit of a... They're speaking in a language that I can understand. Nice M2 going out onto that boomer right there. Deck telling his teammates exactly what he thinks of them, you know, just because, you know, they managed to catch a car, blah, blah, blah. We do have that spit going down on nothing in the back. A Hunter is going to be trying to run around in the front. Smoker going for a pull in the front as well. This hit's not going to do much more. Never mind, it got 2 cap. So a little bit of damage, but again, quick clears, and they should be able to find a set of pills and maybe be able to traverse this huge salt pile thing.
I believe this is gravel, actually, and that would be pretty close to the world's salt reserve if that were to be salt. Definitely the amount of salt that you typically see from some players in this community.
I was gonna say.
But I don't think that the salt is currently residing within these two teams here. We do see a hit coming in here. Charger is going to miss out there, but is actually going to get a lot of punches out onto the 2 survivors at the top. Spit did land on top of that jockey as well, so a lot of more damage coming out on to the 2 permanent health bonuses left. Wait, yeah, no, this pile is nowhere near big enough to contain the salt for a whole community. Probably a couple teams worth. I'd be willing to stretch to 3 teams worth of salt. So that gets me salt. Okay, good to hear. So we have confirmed exactly what this is a pile of.
They managed to reach the hill, actually. That's pretty good without a hit even going in. And the comments haven't been a big deal, but now Bill is a little bit hoarded, but they're just going to kind of let him go. Charger's going to spawn up. Hunter goes in, manages to land his first cap. Charger tries to fit into that small overhang there. Obviously not going to work. Getting a couple of punches at the same point in time. And apparently Twitch chat likes it when I breathe into their ears. I don't really know why, but we'll just keep that as far away as we possibly can. Not many people can traverse Kiss Me Salt. I agree with that. But apparently EVO have managed to do it. And they're going to have over 2,200 points walking into this finale, even if they were to spontaneously combust right here. But they found a set of pills.
Looks like we have enough. Skyline will be fast. Probably just going to look to most likely dish his teammates at this point and just make some distance out while his teammates are dealing with being slow and the horde that's trickling in. Looks like he does double back though, and Hunter's looking for this cap onto him. Will land that cap. Smoker did miss onto Zoe there, trying to get that cap in the back. That won't result in a pull-off, but it will result in Skyline going slow once again. So, but they're still getting more and more points, and you know, I think Team Moscow is really looking to shut this down because they've accumulated at least about, I want to say, 200 points since that tank's died.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, and that's the problem now. They're still getting even more as they, again, face their way through the map, but it's been about, you know, over 500 points per map. And again, that's a really good pace to set. Zoe actually stepping to the end of this barge right here, kind of just chilling out. Spit's gonna go down. She actually leg-tags herself to dodge the spit. Charger's going in, going to get shut down. Jockey M2'd. Ooh, M2'd again, finally shut down by Bill. And Bill is actually going to be able to make his way over here to clear Lewis. And Skyline not giving up at all. They're trying to get to 2,300 points. Looks as though that spit is going to go down, and that is going to be the wipe. So just shy of it, 2,290 through 4 chapters. On an away server K3 with this ping, that's exceptional from Team. And again, they are also, you know, again, communicating in a language that I understand in their Survivor team chat. But they can be very proud of how they played so far.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I do want to say that EVO has been performing extraordinarily on this away server. I must say that, to be quite frank, Team Moscow has been performing slightly subpar compared to what I know that their team is capable of. So I think that, you know, I'm certain that they're capable of playing definitely a lot better than this, and hopefully that for the rest of this match, and hopefully for the matches to come, they will be able to perform as I know that they are able to do.
K3, they want to know what's in your bag. I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but...
I'll tell you. Okay, hold on. Give me a sec.
I don't know. He actually has a bag. Alright, let's see. K3's getting his bag. Yeah, I heard it crinkle as well. I mean, you asked me if I need a paper bag to stop my hyperventilation. Do you have a paper bag handy full of things? I'm not sure.
This is not a paper bag. This is a school bag. I'm about to drop some school bag bars with you guys.
Oh, no. Going back to school. That's a great campaign, by the way, Kiss Me. You better use that for the elimination stages.
I actually, once I completely agree, and at the same time I completely disagree, because while it's a very fun campaign, it's an extremely long campaign, and especially with away servers and home
it's like
servers.
12 maps.
Yeah,
Total.
it might as well be. like if we were casting a double header from back to school, it would take like probably close to 3-4 hours. I want to say so. Yeah, unless we extended the time to 2 weeks for that, I don't think we'd be able to do that. Anyway, so let's see. Oh, look at this. We've got a binder. Got a binder full of lots of English homework. Oh, hey, we've got a script for my drama class. Me and a few other people are recreating a scene from Reservoir Dogs.
Whoa. I like it.
Oh, look, a graph paper. Oh, look, a quiz that has a grade of 100%.
Did you add up scores from Left 4 Dead 2 matches? Was that what it was?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Nice.
It's a math test for adding up Left 4 Dead 2 scores. Let's see. I've got a key. I've got a compass card. Shout out to BC TransLink, the best public transit system in the world. Let's see. I've got a Vancouver Grizzlies wallet. It is an extinct basketball team, and yeah, that's non-existent anymore. Yeah, it is rather unfortunate. We've got some pencils, some pens, a ruler. Always good to carry that stuff with you.
Never know when you might need to measure.
We've got some Pokemon notes at the bottom of my bag.
Ooh.
Looks like these are from a past tournament in which I placed top 8, but I got eliminated by a player named Max Douglas.
I thought you were gonna say Hector Estrada.
Is PSIM in there? PSIM is not in my bag. You know, I actually left my personal PSIM down in Seattle, and I just hope that he's doing all right down there. So yeah. GG's to Kelvin Kuhn, who I defeated in round 1 of this tournament for Pokemon. But onto the current tournament, we are going live. We do have an instantaneous hit coming in here. Spit's going down on top of a nice little 2-cap that landed. And this is actually a ton of damage. Was just me, or was Moscow stuck in that spit?
Moscow was.
Okay, I think our salt pile on the other side of the map probably just got a little bit higher, because it looks like Moscow was stuck in between those 2 little train tracks, maybe on those tiny fragmented bricks. And he took about 40 spit damage in there.
Slowly rising, I think, as this game goes on.
Bring your... No, Kisme's getting salty about the amount of salt that Moscow is having. So we got a bit of some nice saltception going on here.
Nice.
So lots of damage coming out from these hits once again. We do have a draw count going out here. Will be nicely taken out by Moscow. Nice 1967 damage on that witch. But yeah, very solid damage spread coming out here. And I'm going to remove this backpack from my lap.
Alright, fantastic. So yeah, we saw a little bit of damage going on Team Moscow right there. Again, they really make the safe with bones, so they want any chance at winning this series. I really don't think they're going to be too motivated to play an away server game. This is how this home server game goes and goes to completion. We do have a charge manual lane in the corner over there. No spit available. A little bit of spit damage going out. And Moscow is actually already almost slow. They're only 45 HP at this point. Yeah, I saw the post in the Scrim Network asking him to go 4v4. And I don't know if he actually wants to do that or not. But we shall see how his match preparation is going as Team Moscow needs to push their way through this map.
Yeah, we will see a tank coming up here relatively soon, but I think the SI are looking to get one more hit on this kind of a choke point coming up here. Looks like they will be looking for that boom on that long card. They will get that single boom onto Bill. One punch going out onto Bill. They do miss it, but they do actually end up shooting the car alarm in their attempt to pick the smoker. We do have 3 SI still up. Full missing onto Francis, but he actually gets ground in the back by his teammate, and now Moscow gets put slow from that. They do walk over and shut down the smoker, but yeah, and then lots of damage going out here. And what could have been 2 fast survivors has now, or what could have been 3 fast survivors is now going to be 2, as a quick shot to the back being delivered into Moscow.
Indeed, and I mean, at this point, with Team Moscow's health the way that is, if they pop their pills, they're going to have to face a bleed-out tank right here. And I mean, if this tanked even a marginal amount of damage onto them, it could be extremely detrimental for them making any headway before the finale. That smoker did get a little pull right there, did get cleared. Work his way actually back around, and get a repull out onto Cheesy for a little bit of damage. Jockey and a Spitter, the only other 2 spawns that are actually up right now. Jockey deciding to spawn down below there, jumping up, getting a scratch onto Cheesy as well. Just again, chip damage coming in, and the tank for Team EVO is now up into the hands of Star. Let's see what he elects to do. Car hit going in, bouncing around, sliding directly in front of Cheesy. He's going to transition to the roof now and again. As long as survivors don't take their pills, they'll be okay in terms of against a bleed-out tank, but I have a feeling Star is going to be playing for this wipe.
Yeah, definitely. I think that pretty much always you want to play for the wipe, but it's not always possible. Some interesting car play going on here. It looks like they are able to climb up on top of that truck and hit it off again, but that's looking pretty bad for a sec. Looking for some scattered deagle chip onto the tank here, but it does have 3 cars in play now, and all of his cars are in pretty good positions if he wants to get these end caps onto the survivors. They have not popped their pills, so they will not be bleeding out yet. But yeah, actually, looks like Star is going to hit 2 more dumpsters into play.
Yeah.
And now it's just an absolute minefield of hittables out here. God, I wish I was this tank right now. This looks like a hoot.
Did the tank crash, or is this a huge bait?
Tank I guess couldn't handle the amount of hittables that he had to play with and just panicked, and yeah. So yeah, unfortunate for them. Hopefully we have Star being able to come back in here, and I'm not sure what they yeah. So yeah, but we do see the survivors trying to push up towards the tank here, get away from all these hittables, and I do agree with that, because nobody would want to stay in that open area with 5 hittables perfectly in play.
Right, and he should be able to move to the left. Moscow saying he's fine. Ready up. They should be able to move to the left maybe and hit in a couple of those cars. And I guess it's going to be an absolute just cascade of hittables falling down to the survivors right here if that tank gets anywhere close to where he was. I'm looking at it as though this support probably might have to be the things that they commit with. And Dex are trying to make him crash so you get tank. And actually, he did just time out. So get blocked by the Great Firewall. When he loads back in, I don't know exactly who it's going to throw the tank to. It could throw it, I think, to anybody else on the team, but he would have to commit. He's loading back in. He's probably going to be stuck, too, so that's only going to be 2 supports. Let's see which tank gets the hittable tank from this, or if it just passes to AI. It's going to pass over to the control of
Wow. Oh, no.
And he was stuck for a second right there.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to work his way back up now, trying to get a single punch. He has a lot of hittables right here, and the survivors are in a bad position. Oh, my goodness. That's going to be a hittable. Skating over the top right there. He has a couple more good hits to put out onto these dumpsters, flipping them off the back, bouncing in. Car almost landing onto Sexy Phantom, actually staying straight up, rolling back down, rolling almost onto Moscow's face. This tank is really not in a good position right now. That's a really unfortunate error to have happen after that pass went out, and the tank is on second pass. He might actually get 3. I'm not entirely sure, but this should be almost a no-hitter tank, unfortunately, from that position that they were in.
Yeah, because it had to pass to AI and then to somebody else, Tank took about 35% chip just standing there before it could get anything done. Even then, didn't land anything. Rock is not going to land, and I think that Team Moscow, the Left 4 Dead gods are honoring them with potentially a second chance here, because if they can make a safe room with this health bonus, then they will be able to come back and put themselves in the lead again. It's not to speak too soon, though, because the tank is still up. And we do have a hunter landing on top of Francis for a little bit. It does get cleared relatively quickly, though. But yeah, survivors are in a great position now. Tank is almost dead and on second pass. So looks like survivors will be able to push forward towards the ever-growing salt pile.
That salt pile actually might be a more dangerous choke right here than this tank was in its entirety. I mean, who knows how it could have played out if that player didn't actually crash. But the survivors' last-ditch effort to even come back at all in this game relies on whether or not they can mitigate the damage on that salt pile. We do have a rock going in, not going to land. Smoker is going to make a 2-cap with that jockey, more damage going out. This actually could be a rock if they don't clear Cheesy. Rock's going to go in, does get speeded. Cheesy taking a little bit more damage off that, and the tank is still just going to kind of play up top here. He has no hittables left. Gonna try to throw a rock here, not going to land. So this probably should be a dead tank relatively soon. They are actually going to kill it right now, so he's not going to get that spawn for it either. A little bit more bleed out damage going, but this is a good amount of bonus from Team Moscow so far. Again, they did get a little bit of it handed to them because of how that tank went.
Yeah, so now the survivors are sitting at quite a solid amount of health, though, but this is actually a really big choke point that they're coming up to. There's definitely depth charge potential, both in terms of they can get taken into the water, which is a little more difficult, but they can also get double charged, and a double charge here will result in a death most likely, barring some crazy shenanigans in the physics, which we do know does happen more than often. Survivors are trying to spread themselves out to avoid that from prevent that from happening, though, and we are seeing the SI trying to set up to land some kind of big hit here. Yeah, you would need a much PJ Salt spam to be able to shake enough to create this kind of pile. But we do see the Hunter coming in. They're going to get skeeted. Treasure is not going to land at all, and Jockey is going to land for a couple ticks of damage. But Survivors are going to be able to make it through that pretty crucial choke, and they're going to be able to book it through the rest of this map. With all of them fast like this, it won't take them long to be able to get through this.
I really questioned that Charge's decision to come from behind like that. Like, I thought, if anything, he could spawn maybe on the other side of the saw pile right before they got up to the top and then just hold it there for a second and try to get some kind of separation charge in this common we're beating on the Survivors. Nice boom going out here. Charger looking for another spawn, and it's clear that EVO's momentum, the win from their sails, has been kind of stolen because of that unfortunate tank issue. And, I mean, if Team Moscow makes a save from this bonus, it would be absolutely huge. Let's see if they actually can. Smoker's trailing behind, and Survivors are just gunning it right now, working their way forward. Jockey managing to land on a sexy fam, does quickly get cleared. Smoker does get a pull out. Charger's going to spawn up, going for the free charge, and does get leveled. So this should be Team Moscow making the save for him.
Most likely, yes, and they are currently sitting at a very respectable 600 health bonus. If they make it in with this current health bonus, they will take the lead going into the finale, which is absolutely crucial if they want to be able to claim a victory for the whole series of team matches that they're going to be. Looks like they might end up playing one more hit to shut down here before they can claim the health bonus, though. Hunter is going to go in here, not finding any targets just yet, but looks like Bill ran out of ammo trying to keep that Hunter, and they do get a bit of a hunt spit onto there. Looks like the Survivors lost close to 100 bonus on that last hit, but nothing too significant, as the Survivors are sitting at quite large damage bonus, regardless of the amount of solid health that they have.
Maybe
so very nicely done by them, and they will actually barely not squeak out the lead there, and they will be losing by an insignificant 34 points. So nicely done by Team EVO to secure that last bit of damage to keep the lead in their favor. But yeah, that is the kind of thing that I think Team Moscow needed to do a lot earlier.
Obviously, yeah, it depends on how you look at it in terms of how that score, came out in terms of Survivor and Infected play. Obviously, the tank crashing and then passing had a big part to do with it. But again, I mean, if Team EVO wants to win this game on the American server, what they can do is, I don't know if they're going to want to try to start all 3 generators at once or something like that, but the crucial aspect of this is put themselves in a position with the same kind of positioning that they've shown so far, where they don't get wiped on that first or second tank. If they make 3rd tank, I think they're in a pretty good, I don't know, I think they have a pretty good opportunity to win it if they manage to make that 3rd tank, or if they manage, God forbid, get the sacrifice finale with 169 ping. But I don't know. If I'm Team Moscow, we need to get that wipe of that first tank, so it's almost the exact opposite story. It's been a great game so far. The scores are a little bit closer than they probably by all rights should have been, but again, we'll see exactly how they can play it out. Team EVO on the Survivor side, Team Moscow on the Special Effective. Deck actually going out alone right here after that spit goes down. Hunter working its way and trying to get a DP. Boomer trying to land as well. That did get a single boom, and there's a lot of common making their way in now. Hunter going in for that DP once again, getting chipped, almost shot out of the air, and again, staggered hit coming out from Team Moscow.
Yeah, they need to really sync up their SI hits if they want to be able to claim the win, at least on the American server. So, I mean, because EVO's, even with the high paying, their shutdowns are just too on point to merit getting those solo SIs on. They do have a pretty nice hit coming in here, quite a bit of jockey damage going with, though. Hunter landing for a little bit of damage, but not a whole lot to speak of. And that will be the end of that hit. And so it looks like Team EVO will be able to go down to whichever of these generators that they desire. Looks like they will be deciding to start 2 at once. Actually, never mind. Looks like Lewis had one plan, and the rest of the team had a different plan. So Survivors will be holding out 1 generator at a time.
I think that's the right call right here, because obviously we've seen a couple other teams and they had the disadvantage deciding to change that call up. How'd that boomer not land? I have no idea. But now the tank is up in the hands of both for Team Moscow. Jockey, another Boomer, and a Hunter in the spawn queue. Boomer going in, managing to land a nice double boom. This could actually signal a commit from our SI friends on Team Moscow. EVO decided to take this in a little bit of a different area than we've seen before. Nice double cap landing, though. Little bit of problems going out there in terms of the clears. Lots of damage going on the deck. Here comes the car flying over. Skyline is in position to maybe try to push this tank. Rock going in, not going to land it, and the survivors are taking it again in this area that we haven't seen a whole lot of yet.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot. I'm not sure if the dumpster behind them is hittable, but I'm assuming that the car up there is probably also hittable. So yeah, can't say I'm a big fan of this spot just because there's so many spawns to block and there's so many hittables to dodge. And you know, last map was a perfect example of how hittables can cause a lot of shenanigans. Especially against teams with high ping. So we do have a pause going out here. Hopefully not as long as last. Hopefully there is no tank crashes this time. But yeah, Team EVO is in a pretty solid position health-wise to kill this tank.
Friend Moscow. Oh geez. Moscow is waiting to... I don't know. He might have some technical difficulties. Could be a bevy of things at this point, but they already have a bleeder on deck right now, and the rest of... I almost called them Team Kazemias because of Cheesy's tag, but Team Moscow... I don't know. I've seen tanks knock all their hittables out in the first one to try to get that wipe, and then the second tank and third tank are kind of left up the creek without a proverbial paddle in terms of their hittable play. But if I'm Moscow, I really just want to get the wipe here and then make it to like the second tank, or hell, even start all the generators and get the win on this server, and then maybe force that game over on the Asian server. But I don't know. EVO's played it very, very well so far. Let's see if they continue to do that on their survivor side. We are going live right here. Again, that tank in the hands of Boat for Team Moscow. He still has over 5,300 HP left, and that rock almost landed. Hit going in. Smoker's going to try to get a pull into Francis. Jockey lands onto Lewis, a little bit of damage. Rock going in, not going to land. Repull going out onto Francis, so almost a 2-cap, just a little bit out of sync.
Yeah, so survivors are currently bleeding out, but they do have 3 assisted kills left. Boat hasn't taken a lot of damage, and he is sitting on first pass still. So, looks like we will see a bit of a longer tank coming out here. I'm interested to see if the survivors will try to juke the tank out once it does commit and get away from these hittables. Because this, as we mentioned earlier, this is a very interesting spot, and I haven't actually seen any survivor take this in before. Arc Boom actually is going to whiff from the bottom there. It looks like... Oh!
I just came because of that melee seat!
Alright, I didn't actually see it for myself, but I'm assuming that hopefully Kissy has it on camera. But I mean, let's try to keep this esports friendly, Rails Barlow.
I am keeping it esports friendly. What the hell do you think that salt pile was made of?
Right. Anyway, we do have a charge coming in here. It's going to land for a little bit of damage. We do have a bit of a rock landing for control and damage onto deck, who is bleeding out. So SI are doing a pretty good job at getting us damage and maintaining control without taking too much chip.
And as you say that, though, he actually is going to get chipped even more right there, down to about 4,615 HP. And I think EVO figured out that this strategy might not be the best optimal spot for whatever reason, and they're going to start transitioning up. Deck is really alone right now, though. Severely split from the rest of his team, actually having to drop back down. They're trying to make some kind of transition, I think. Boomer's going to rocket in. Nice pop going out by Deck. Rock is barely going to miss Deck. And then that Hunter is going to land, get cleared by Lewis. And then that Smoker is going to be kind of in a difficult position. This tank's down to 4,300 HP. And now he's hitting his hittables in K3. This is what you wanted.
Yes, it is. It most certainly is. Hopefully these hittables have a bit more luck. Looks like SI, or survivors rather, are looking to take this inside of the pool room now that the threat of those cars is present. Tank has been chipped up a little bit, so actually the survivors are moving back aside. Francis right beside the car. They could drop down and get this, but it looks like they get cleared that just in time. And now Boat is on second pass and in a rather unfavorable position, still taking chip, trying to climb back up on top of this house. So survivors managing to get out of that. Probably actually a good trade in their favor, because now tank has to commit. And actually opting not to cut off the survivors as they go back inside, which could be ending up being a bit of a misplay as the tank is coming in here. Manages to get a bit of a corner, but is actually going to get destroyed by that melee weapon of Star before they can secure even one in-cap onto the survivors. So very nicely taken by Team EVO, regardless of how much miscommunications in terms of the spot they wanted to take it in. So now they're sitting at very solid health, maybe even enough to take out another tank.
Honestly, that was a well-played tank, in my opinion, by Boat. There were a couple opportunities there where the survivors could have been just all over him, but they managed to get that amount of hip, like, down to what, maybe like 3,800 before he actually went into an enclosed space. And that's important because, as we saw, that tank got absolutely melted when he actually decided to go indoors because of that pre-chip. Nice 23 damage pounce going out onto a deck right there. M2 on that jockey does get shut down. They have 2 hits of pills on them, and that's actually all they've got. They don't have any left on the ammo counter. But again, they're going to make it to the second tank. I think if they can survive the second tank, like I said, make it to third, they're going to put themselves in good position. And then in a perfect world, they'd be able to wipe at that first tank as well. Remember, they're defending a very, very, very small lead at this point. And now we are going to see the tank coming up for Team Moscow in the hands of Captain Exemius Cheesy Ahab. That Boomer is going to get popped. Charger Hunter and a Smoker for the next hit.
Yeah, so see, Cheesy taking a bit of an interesting route up here. Survivors are looking to start up this last generator. Does this start any horde on top of the tank?
We shall find out, and I think that's the right call again to start that next generator, because now they're going to get 2 tanks, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
so...
I believe that there's only 2 tanks on this map.
No, I think there's 3. There's supposed to be 3.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There is 3. Wow, I guess there must have been a change since the last time I played this map. I do recall there only being 2 tanks. So now there will be 2 tanks up, and the distance points are going upwards. I don't know. I mean, like, I think they might have had a chance at killing off at least one of these tanks, but yeah, the distance points are going up now. I believe we are going to see the survivors probably spread out a lot and try to let these distance points tick up as much as possible.
Ooh.
And we do see double corners going out here, but one of the tanks got burgered a lot, it looks like, by Skyline. And now we have 2 in-caps, but one of the tanks is relatively close to dead. However, both survivors are now slow, and so this should be relatively easy pickings for the tanks to just go off and get these solar corners, both of them. And they do end up getting that, and this will be the wipe going out to Team EVO. Their final score for at least game 1 of this best of 2 will be 2,826. So now, Team Moscow looking to have an 860 points comeback if they want to make up and at least tie them up and maybe take the lead going into the American game.
Honestly, that decision I really, really agree with from Team EVO right there, because I don't know if they would have had the health of that second tank or they would have been limping at the same point in time. So again, just cut out the middleman, don't make us wait, get both the tanks up at the same time. And honestly, if that ends up to be like the reason why they win, but by the slight margin that they do on this American server, then I mean, that would be really kind of unfortunate for Team Moscow, obviously, even if they were to kill all 3 tanks. But killing all 3 tanks is such a small, like, it's a really, really tall order on a map like this, especially depending on how many things can go wrong from these SI hits. EVO are in a really good position to win this game right now. We'll see if they can hold on for it. It's going to be a Smoker, Spitter, Boomer, and a Hunter for their first hit. Team Moscow going to have to do work on the Survivor side, more work than we've seen them do in this game so far, and unless the tank crashes again, we will see Team EVO do their best to stop them. It looks as though they actually are baiting it out pretty well. Smoker's going to spawn up as well. Hunter gets skeeted. We're going to see the Smoker get a pull through Spit, actually on the edge of that Spit right there for an okay amount of damage on the Moscow. Again, pretty good damage off of 2-2.
Yeah, definitely okay damage going out there. Not a lot of spread. I mean, Team Moscow can afford to definitely take a couple more of those hits, I would say. But I think they want to get this tank up right away. They don't want to make any risks. They want to try to take these tanks with as much health as possible because they need to kill 3 tanks essentially. What?
There's 1 pill and 3 pipe bombs. That means we have to restart. Okay, wait. If
we want to take that boat downriver, we'll need to raise that bridge.
Yeah, we have to restart. We have to restart this half the round.
Fantastic.
Yep, that's unfortunate. I actually haven't seen that before. It's gonna be, what is it? Yeah, so 1 pill and 3 pipe bombs. I haven't seen that one yet. So okay, we're what? 2,826 to.
I believe they were. It was like 2,266.
I believe you're correct because subtract 100, then the 30. Yeah, K3 is correct. So it's 2,000. You said 2,200, right, in 66?
Yeah, because I do recall saying 660 points difference.
Yeah. Oh, teams are tied. LOL. Okay. And you know, I thought because we restarted the chapter, it would have actually given like the teams the appropriate score, but maybe not. Maybe it's a pacifies thing where it doesn't do that. Because I thought usually when you restart a chapter, it at least gives the yeah, it did. That's what I thought. So wait a minute.
Once we get to the keys, I'm gonna teach you how to swim, Francis.
I'm having a moment. Are those scores just correct?
The army wants to kill us.
Yeah, those scores are actually correct.
Probably crossed the mark.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, there you go. I don't have to do anything. I thought we had to reset the scores. What base god? Maybe it was Valerium. I don't know. Decided to set that completely accurately, but whatever. All right, we don't have to do anything. So this is just a restart of the round, and we have pills. Cool. I don't know exactly what that's gonna do to the tank. It's probably gonna re-random it. But Kiss Me, they don't really need to do that, do they? Because it's already on. It's already on the correct scores. Like it should just add up as normal. Do they? We can fix that. Hold on. The survivor should have what? 2,266, right?
We just might make it out of here after all. Outstanding.
There, I did it. All right, so now this is accurate, and he wants me to set the tank to 2. The deck wants his tank back. Am I allowed to give him tank, Mr. Overlord Tournament Director person? No? Okay. Well, I can't do it then. Oh well, we'll see if he actually gets another one, but... So, okay, now we have this accurately out. Team Moscow is going to have that 2266, and then Team EVO is going to have 2,826, as we just saw there. Survivor round get played, so again, same situation. Maybe it might give tank to K3. I mean, we might see a situation now where they take the first couple hits a little bit better, but that would really be the only change, because by the time we figured out that error, it really didn't have a whole lot of impact on the way that round was going.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I think that it won't be a difficult performance to recreate in terms of getting down there without taking too much damage. We do see a pretty solid damage potential hit coming out here, so a little bit more dangerous for Team Moscow. Team EVO probably trying to land a charge bit. Looks like that will not land on the safe room. Treasure getting shut down after getting one punch and a stumble. We do have a bit of a pull going out here, and a bit of free spit damage going out, but relatively similar damage. It's just slightly less spread. Very comparable to the first time that they played through this part of the map, and they will be going up in a very similar situation.
Indeed they shall. So let's see which one of these wonderful generators they decide to start first, or they can start all three at once, do the same thing the Team EVO did, and pray to God that they can actually kill one of the tanks. They are going to go, and looks like they're going to start the nearest generator first. Boomer, Smoker, Spitter, and a Charger for a hit. Boomer's spawning up top right there, not getting much of anything. Spit's going to go down in the middle of the ground. Again, not a whole lot going out. Nice tongue cut going out from Moscow right there. Charger getting chipped a little bit. Running actually through the Death Spit, though. Charger's going to go in for YOLO charge, not going to land. Is going to get shut down. That first generator started. Now the survivors should be able to get to whatever spot they want to fight this tank in for the best result that they think is going to happen. So, okay, let's see. Who is the tank going to be for Team EVO when it comes up? What?
Oh God, get ready, here they come.
The bridge is down. Go, go, go.
It
does it?
Oh,
okay.
Dude, I thought that was gonna. I thought that was gonna be. I thought that was gonna be like a bad situation right there. Cause I've seen that happen before, where it skips everything and just lowers the bridge. Like honestly, I've seen that happen on this now, and I thought that's what we were headed for. But all right, Sacrifice isn't trolling us that hard. That would have been too much to actually fathom. There was a little bit more chip damage off that hit, single boom landing, plus some spitters and some pinners and some common and some other things that are getting that stack damage. It's okay, Kiss Me. It's fine. You don't have to apologize. We are in good company. It's fine. So, the
Yeah,
tank's gonna be up for
I
Team
think
EVO.
I've just been feeding off of the stupidity of Rails.
Yeah.
so we do have the tank out here in the hands of MSC, so Deck not getting his tank back. The tank's spawning up in a really awkward position, actually. Gonna have to climb out here. Doesn't take as much damage as I thought he would, but that is still a relatively significant amount of damage. And the Survivors are in a pretty good spot if they want to just go probably inside of the pool room and LOS while the hit is down. Not sure if that's what they're gonna like to do though. It looks like they're just looking for chip here. I don't think they have unlimited ammo though, so we'll see how this ends up going.
Honestly, I think this is bad casting with me. Imagine being on my team. We have another hit coming in here right now. Jockey's going to try to land. Try to go for DP charge. Rocket is not going to land either. Getting shut down pretty handily right there. And this tank's actually taking a good amount of chip now from this position. He's down to under 5k HP. Now the Survivors are going to try a similar strat. However, I said this before in a couple of the games that we had. I really do not like being the home team fighting something inside because their ping is going to give them arms that you wouldn't typically have. Boomer gets a reboom onto Lewis, and the tank's actually transitioning above them right now. He's got the Survivors split. 2 of them are inside, 2 of them are outside. He's almost going to land a rocket. He actually is going to commit right here. This is the right call in my opinion. Hard's going to land inside. He purposely misses that punch. Now they have that pin, trying to clear through the wall. There's the arm I was talking about, pushing Zoe into that corner. However, the tank did not actually cover that person who's pinned inside, but now that person's repinned by that smoker. Tank turning back around, trying to spread the damage. There's another long arm onto Lewis, and Tank is going to decommit. That's the exact reason why I say do not fight that tank inside.
Yeah, there was definitely a ton of damage, and the tank's still sitting at 40% health. Survivors only have 2 assisted pills left, and Boat is sitting at very little health. And plus, Moscow there eating that rock. This is looking really, really bad for the Survivors, and now at this point it's going to be difficult for them to kill this tank, let alone 1 or 2 more, and try to get a lead on this. So this is definitely almost certainly looking like curtains for this game. We'll have to see if they want to take this to game 2 or not.
Rock getting nice and skeeted by Cheesy, who also did get that pickup. Tank is on 35%. Second pass. Boomers is kind of chilling in the center, crouched out right there. He is not going to be able to land that boom. Jockey is the last spawn up right here, trying to go. Imagine you get a scratch onto Zoe. So they have 2 sets of pills on them right now, and then they have.
I forgot that I forgot that they don't have pipe bombs. So
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, they might be okay, but they have to kill this first tank. Oh, nice charge going out. Separation onto Boat. Even more damage going out on Team Moscow. Rock going in is going to get skeeted. And at this point, if the Survivors, they can pick up those pills and then try to work their way around to another generator, that might be what they want to do. Because right now, they're still just bleeding out, and the tank is staring at them, and it still has, 1800 HP, 20% second pass, but they don't know exactly how low he is. We do have a hit coming in here right now. Hunter's going for a DP off that pull, not going to land. Rock's going to miss. Nice ski going out by Cheesy. And the next spawn is going to be a Jockey. But again, this is just more bleed going out.
Yeah, and every damage they take is damage that they don't have to give up. The tank looks like it will be trying to come in here. It does actually somehow manage to get in. Oh, it does actually end up messing AI somehow. I think it lost Baby's light on the railing, but it just doesn't really matter as the Uzis of the Survivors will talk down the last of the tank's health. And yeah, so Survivors sitting at 3 of them bleeding, and Cheesy with a relatively small amount of health left. So yeah, they're in a pretty grim position for sure. I think they're also a little too far away from the fire generator in terms of starting that one up too. So I think they kind of are forced to try to take this tank before trying to take the 3rd one.
Indeed, and the tank is up in the hands of Skyline for Team EVO. Double boom landing when Survivors are inside. Tank might want to decide to commit on this. Instead, he's going to try to curve a rock in there. Going to hit his Jockey instead. Jockey has a separation jock onto Zoe. If it were me, I would have committed that tank, but again, I'm not playing the match, so that smoker is going to get cleared right now. Tank is going to be up top, still trying to play a little bit more of a bleed out right here. Again, if the Survivors decide to stay inside, this is an almost for sure wipe because of those tank arms.
Yeah, for sure. So Survivors are electing to go further away. But actually, Tank's dropping right on top of this hittable, almost landing that hittable onto a bunch of Survivors. But Survivors are in a relatively tough position here because Zoe is cornered right now and slow, trying to go for those pills, but there isn't any more pills left to take.
Did you see that dumpster?
No, I did not.
That dumpster,
I was over there
I think that dumpster
Zoe.
actually hit Zoe's hitbox. I'm not even kidding. That was that close, and it just did not land. That charger does get an in-cap right there. Carr is not in the right position right now for this tank, trying to get a zone onto Cheesy. One Survivor is boomed as well. Hunter's
Oh my god, this 1v1.
Pounce is going to lose it. And, I mean, this has been a really weird tank fight so far.
Yeah, definitely. This will be Boat being sent black and white, and actually, maybe might not even get the chance to as Tank and Smoker interrupting the pickup. They can elect to get the pickup right now if they want to, but Jockey is trying to go down there, get that interception onto Bill. solid 1v1 going on here, but she backs up right into the tank and will get incapped by Skyline. So yeah, this is definitely looking like it might be the end of the survivors. We do have one of them going out onto the incapped survivor, and yeah, tank's still sitting at about 22% health. And another pull going into the back. This could be the death onto boat if they do capitalize on that a little bit more. Boat does end up getting killed off, yeah. So this looks like it will be end up going into the favor of EVO for this first game. So if Team Moscow elects to take this to a game 2, it will be extremely difficult, and if not, then this could just be GG right now.
Could be. I mean, they still have a little bit of a chance with the 3 survivors. That car managing to land on the sexy Phantom as well. A lot of damage going out from that in-cap curve. Rock trying to go in a little bit harder to curve with that amount of ping, though. Car is going to grind sexy Phantom. That is going to be another death onto him. So 2 deaths coming out of this tank right here. Skyline doing a nice job just holding the survivors at bay. They're both very, very slow. Charger and a Hunter for the next right here. Charger gets the double charge, and that's a nice way for EVO to win the game on the North American server, and that is how they are going to do it. 2,826 to 2,630. Dang, good half. How's it that you guys were... Is it going to be another game, or is it going to be GG? That's the question that I think we're all asking at this point. How's that you guys were able to delete my infected sounds?
Okay,
that's not
so
usually
then, yeah, it looks like they will be electing to play a second game. So we will be here a little bit longer. I think we're most likely going to be taking a bit of a recess. At least I definitely need one to grab the butter chicken that my mother has prepared for me. Because she's a fucking saint. Pardon my esports. Butter chicken.
Boner chicken, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, pardon my language. But yeah, so we will be going over to a game 2 in Asian server, most likely a Hong Kong server. So yeah, we're gonna see how maybe maybe we'll see a total reverse of what happened here, and we'll have Team Moscow coming out with victory, because that's definitely what they need to do, because they are down roughly, I think it's like 524 points. So even if that was on their home server, that's not a super small deficit to come back from, let alone on an away server.